The one-man committee headed by retired Madras High Court Judge Justice K. Chandru on Tuesday, June 18th, submitted its report to Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, providing recommendations to avoid caste sentiments and violence among college and school students. It contains many long-term recommendations to address systemic issues in blunt caste identities and tackle caste-based discriminations in educational institutions, especially schools. The Tamil Nadu government had constituted the committee headed by Justice Chandru in August 2023 after a brother-sister duo belonging to the SC community in Tirunelveli's Nanguneri were assaulted by their own schoolmates over caste differences. Now, what are some of the major recommendations made by the committee? Number 1. Prohibition on wearing caste markers. The committee has suggested that students should be prohibited from wearing any colored wristbands, rings or forehead marks, that is tilak, which are caste markers. The committee says students must also refrain from coming to school on bicycles painted with reference to their caste or exhibiting any caste-related sentiments. Failure to comply with these rules must result in appropriate action being taken in addition to advising their parents or guardians, the committee report read. Now, reacting to the recommendations made by Justice Chandru, senior BJP leader H. Raja said that the Tamil Nadu government must not accept the report submitted as the committee has recommended that students must be prohibited from wearing coloured threads, wristbands, rings, forehead marks which are caste markers. The BJP leader believes that this is against the Hindu community. Let's listen in to what he had to say.
Majority community. இவங்க அதுக்கு பேரு டாமினன்ட் கம்யூனிட்டின்னு சொல்றாங்க. எந்த ஏரியாவில் எந்த கம்யூனிட்டி டாமினன்ட்? சவுத்தில் பார்த்தா ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டி எண்ணிக்கை கூட இருக்கலாம், மேற்குல பார்த்தா ஒரு கம்யூனிட்டி எண்ணிக்கை கூட இருக்கலாம், வடக்க பார்த்தா வேற இருக்கலாம். ஆனா ஜாதி சர்டிபிகேட்டையும் ஒழிச்சு வைக்கணுமா? வாட் இஸ் திஸ்? ஆகவே இந்த ஜஸ்டிஸ் சந்துருவோட டோட்டல் ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன்ஸ் ஏதோ உள்நோக்கத்தோட அவர் கொடுக்கப்பட்டிருக்கு. அதனால இட் ஷுட் பி ரிஜெக்டட். தட் இஸ் அவர் ஸ்டாண்ட். உங்க ஸ்டாண்ட் என்னவா வேணா இருந்துட்டு போட்டோம். ஏன் ஒய் யூ ஆர் ஆர்கிங் ஃபார் ஒன் கவர்மெண்ட் ஒன் செக்ஷன்? எந்த கட்சி? ஜாதி கட்சி. ஏன் இப்ப வந்து விசிகா ஜாதி கட்சியா இல்லையா? இப்ப விசிகா ஜாதி கட்சியா இல்லையா? அத முதல்ல இங்க இருங்க. யூ ஃபர்ஸ்ட் கம் அப். அதுக்கு தான் கேட்டேன்னா, இவர் வேற சமுதாயம், நான் வேற சமுதாயம். என் கையில நான் சிவப்பு கயிறு கட்டி இவர் பாருங்க. அனாவசியமா நீங்க ஒரு மிக மோசமான ரெக்கமெண்டேஷன். No, Justice Chandru's recommendations are malicious. I tell.
Now, some other recommendations made by Justice Chandru are orientation programs. At the time of recruitment of teachers, it is proposed that the aptitude of the teachers as well as their attitude towards social justice issues must be asserted. Additionally, teachers and staff of schools and colleges must undergo compulsory orientation program relating to social issues, caste discrimination, sexual violence, offences against SC/ST communities, etc. It is also recommended that an orientation program should compulsorily be given at the beginning of every academic year for all students from class 6 to 12th, facilitated by trained professionals and educators. Number 3. Student associations. The state government and school education department should permit all schools and colleges in Tamil Nadu to have student associations with leadership elected annually by allowing students to vote. Number 4. Seating arrangements in class. Importantly, the committee has also proposed that seating arrangements of students in every classroom in all schools and colleges should strictly be based on alphabetical order. Number 5. Caste status of students to be kept confidential. The committee recommended that while maintaining the caste status of a student as a record file in the school, access to such a record should be confined only to the headmaster and other inspecting authorities visiting the school, ensuring that confidentiality is always maintained. Furthermore, it has been recommended that the attendance register of the students must not contain any column or details relating to their caste. Moreover, it advises teachers not to call out the students either directly or indirectly referring to their caste, nor make any derogatory remarks about the student's caste or the so-called character attributed to the caste. In the case of schools, it has been suggested that the government must mandate the removal of any caste prefix or suffix associated with government schools. This should be applicable for schools that are to be established in the future and that already exists. In the case of existing private schools that have caste appellations, the school education department should request these schools to give it up. Prohibition on usage of school campus for communal or caste-related messages. It has also been proposed that the government must bring appropriate regulations prohibiting the usage of school or college auditoriums, classrooms, playgrounds, or open spaces for activities such as mass drills, parades, or the propagation of communal or caste-related messages. Interestingly, the committee has put forward that an expert body or an agency can be appointed by the government to investigate allegations of saffronization of education and activities that infiltrate educational institutions, hampering caste and communal harmony. Attitude towards marginalized caste. The annual confidential reports (ACR) for such officers should record their attitudes towards scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. A code of conduct for teachers and staff of all types of schools, colleges, and universities run by the state must be prescribed statutorily. He also recommended ascertaining the attitude of aspirants towards social justice issues while interviewing them for recruitment of teachers by the Teachers Recruitment Board. Moral classes. Now, the committee said moral classes must be made compulsory for students from class 6 to 12 in all types of schools. Every week, one period should be allocated for imparting Ara Neri, morals. The government should appoint a trained counselor for each block who will be required to attend all secondary schools in that block. In case any student is addicted to drugs, the counselor will recommend the admission of that student to a de-addiction center at the expense of the state and will monitor the student's progress, he added. Postings and transfers. It recommended periodic transfer of high school and higher secondary school teachers. On the posting of chief educational officers, district educational officers, block educational officers, and headmasters of high and higher secondary schools, the report said that the government should formulate guidelines for not posting persons belonging to the dominant caste of that area. Assessment of areas. The report further said that the government should assess whether an area should be declared as caste atrocity prone and take precautionary measures there. The state government can also constitute a special intelligence unit to gather information on caste violence and identify persons or organizations involved in fomenting caste discrimination, the report further added. Ban on mobile phones in schools. Stating that the government should strictly enforce banning the use of mobile phones by students on school campuses, the committee said that this order should be applied not only to students of schools under the state board but also to those in schools affiliated with other boards. School welfare officer. The state government must create a post of school welfare officer for each secondary school with more than 500 students. In cases of co-education, there must be 2 school welfare officers, one of each gender. The school welfare officers must monitor the functioning of the school regarding issues of ragging, drug menace, sexual assault, and offences related to caste discrimination and should address these issues per the law. As a long-term goal, the committee has suggested the Tamil Nadu government to enact a legislation governing all students from schools to higher educational institutions to enforce a policy of social inclusion and eradicate caste discrimination. This legislation should impose duties and responsibilities on students, teaching and non-teaching staff, as well as the management of such institutions, and prescribe mechanisms for supervision, control and sanctions for non-compliance with these directives, it said. That's it for now. For more such updates, keep watching our channel. This is Afreen Hussain and you are watching India Today SoSouth.